Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2. We're here today. It is January 28th with FirstShield Financial and Jerry Sanders here on Mobile Mailbox Money in the local market of Arizona. Jerry Sanders is in Florida. Happy to have you here today on the channel. Jerry, if you could just introduce yourself for the viewers that don't know you.
All right, cool. As you said, Jerry Sanders. I'm here in Jacksonville, Florida. We invest in mortgage notes, and are a big investor with you folks. So like to do that shout out as well. So thank you for the mailbox money.
Absolutely. That's a mutual prosperity in business. That's important, right? Things to be mutually prosperous. Jerry Sanders has been focusing on raising private capital for the debt investment strategy associated in seller carry finance notes. Jerry, why did you guys choose notes? Out of all different asset classes, you got residential real estate, you've got, multifamily investing, wholesaling. What makes notes such a great investment strategy that you're raising money to do that?
So for me, I've done everything else in real estate. We have a nice real estate portfolio of properties that we rent and all this other kind of stuff. But I like notes because I don't have to deal with the 3 T's: tenants, termites, and trash. you know, and I think there's a rule in property management that toilets only break at 8:30 on Friday nights.
It seems to be the case a lot of the times.
Yeah, that's the norm. That's a law. So um, that was, that's part of my real estate world. But as I did all of that, I started to hear more and more about notes. And as a landlord, one of the things that I realized is that my largest expense was to the bank. And for most landlords, that's the case. So you sit back and you go, well, wait a second, that's my largest expense, but I'm doing all the work and they're making all the money.
Sure.
So that was kind of the aha moment that got me to start looking at notes. And then when we started, our focus and the focus of our fund is non-performing notes, because we wanted to be able to work with borrowers, to be able to help them out of a situation and also make money for ourselves.
Absolutely. It's great to bring up the non-performing nature of notes because that's the risk within a performing note investment strategy. And knowing that, an individual savvy in navigating the non-performance of a note, that just brings stronger validity to y'all's platform. You're a
Yep.
bottom-up educated individual in real estate notes and, kind of coming into the non-performing nature. It's a little more sweat equity having to figure out the, potentials of a workout within the loan or, ushering it through the formal foreclosure processes. It sounds like you guys are pretty well versed
Yeah,
in.
we are. We are. So with any note, the only 3 things are going to happen: the borrower pays as agreed, they pay it off early, or they fail to pay and you have to go through some process. But even with the fail to pay, which is, they've defaulted and it's a non-performing note, there's still 3 outcomes, the same 3 outcomes. We can work with them to restructure the loan so that they're now paying it again. We may work with them to help them sell the house, which is an early payoff for us. Worst case, there's the foreclosure. We try not to do that, but if that happens, then you get paid on the back end when the property is sold.
Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of get a little scared of the potential of a non-performance in a program, but it's important to understand there's recourse, right? With your security on title, you have a lien. If it goes non-performing, there's a tangible asset there, opposed
Yeah.
to just to be a promissory note with interest with the contract. As far as the asset, it's backed by an asset, collateralized in a note investment strategy outside the stock market. What more could you ask for at the end of the day?
Absolutely, absolutely. And the thing that we love, and you just mentioned it, it's the collateral. The borrower has pledged an asset, their house, and said, "Hey, if I don't pay, you can take my house." Well, people are not going to just give their house away. So they're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that they make the payments, and that's what makes the whole note environment so exciting. So that's why we invest. That's why we have a pretty good portfolio of notes, and also why we decided to do the fund.
Yeah, so maybe you could touch on that here as FirstShield Financial, raising private capital for the bank quality stability found in notes. How's the raise going? You and Kim Brown over there, I've seen you guys at multiple national note investment conferences. So don't come room, maybe you could just touch on FirstShield Financial and, how you guys are helping investors hedge in this market.
All right, super. So we set up First Shield Financial, about 8 years ago, and we started investing using our capital, some capital from friends and family, and some other investors. And what was happening is we were very successful in what we were doing. And as a result of that, some of my mentors actually said, "Well, why don't you set up a fund?" And their rationale was, "I want a piece of this." you know, so um, and we thought about it, we looked at it, we did, went through all of the legal stuff, and then we said, all right, let's do this because it does give us a chance to one, get a broader base of folks involved in what we're doing, and also provide a good return, a good income for an investor base. And for our fund, we give a quarterly interest rate somewhere between 8 and 12%, depending on the amount of money that they've invested. And we also give half of the profits on the non-performing notes that we do some kind of workout with.
Yeah, I love that. To touch on the workout, it's important. I think we can both agree that we're not in the business of taking people's houses. We'll try our best to put that person back on a successful track, at the end of the day. But if they put their head in the ground, there's that asset ultimately to re-perform. And I think we can both agree on that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And one of the things that I find, because we buy not a lot of non-performers, and the fund is going to focus on non-performers. In some cases, particularly the notes that we find, people forgot. There was some event in their lives. So we buy a lot of seconds. So there's some event that happened. They lost a job, um, divorce, a death in the family, some bad thing that happened to a good individual, and we wound up with a note. In a lot of cases, folks go, "Oh, gee, I forgot." And the next thing you know, and it's kind of weird. you know, I'll see like 15 payments all at once. It's like, hey, I gotta get this caught up. So um, that's one of the things that happens. So going back to what you're saying, we don't try to take somebody's house. That's not the goal. The goal is to see what we can do to help.
And I think that translates to a feel-good investment strategy, right?
Absolutely.
We're all here to make money at the end of the day. This is an investment, but to invest in something that's a feel-good investment strategy that's creating homeowners, keep people in their houses, it's kind of tough to find in the market. What's your take on that?
Um, I like that. And, you think about today's housing market, everybody says it's a really tight market, you know, um, we have a housing shortage, all those kinds of things. So what we're trying to do is to make sure we're doing things to help people stay in their properties.
Absolutely.
And, we're the other thing that we're doing, as we invest with you, we're trying to make sure that we're also doing things that help a disadvantaged borrower or someone that has a lower income to also be able to have a place to live, a roof over their head. That's just part of our DNA.
No, that's a great point. Maybe the people that have less options out in the market, with residential real estate pricing, we've seen appreciation go up historical numbers over the past 4 or 5 years, and
Absolutely.
incomes haven't kept up. With people trying to qualify for residential purchases, it kind of creates a little, a travesty of a situation for the crisis of affordable housing. you
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
it's a challenge nationally, and we appreciate your confidence in our strategy, Jerry. We've cultivated a great relationship over the past couple years. We met, I think it was at Diversified Mortgage Expo,
I think so. I think so.
and we've seen each other at multiple conferences. From the Note Expo, we interviewed Kim Brown from FirstShield Financial. That was a great
Yeah.
touch that we had. So shout out to Kim. And we'll have to maybe get your take out at the Wealth Protection Summit in Ponte Vedra at TPC. Maybe you could just touch lightly on the event, the FirstShield Wealth Protection event that you guys have going on here in this first quarter.
All right, absolutely. So Wealth Protection Summit is going to be April the 5th at, as you said, at the Marriott Sawgrass, which is right next to TPC Sawgrass, the famous golf course. The purpose of the event is to bring together a number of experts in various aspects of investing so that we can help folks see alternatives to what they're looking at, how to best plan tax strategies, how to leave a legacy for your family, those kinds of things. My whole purpose behind doing the conference was that, for me, as with most investors, I've invested in the stock market, I've invested in a lot of different places, and you have ups and downs in the market. And what you really are trying to do is to figure out ways to be able to protect the assets you have while you're still having that growth. And that was kind of the thought process in my head for, hey, let's do something. And that's why we call it the Wealth Protection Summit, because it's really about how to protect your wealth while you're trying to grow. So we'll have tax guys there. We have a gentleman who is a world-class CPA who works with high net worth people on what their tax strategies look like. We're going to have other folks there that talk about trusts, insurance, building a legacy for your family, all of those kinds of things. So I think it's going to be a great summit. I think there's going to be a lot of enthusiasm and excitement about the folks we're bringing in.
I think it's going to be a really warm room for people
Yeah,
that are looking for, how to self-direct their IRA into alternative investments, for the
yeah,
asset preservation. High net worth individuals are looking more so on how to hold on to their capital than try to make the highest interest rate on
yeah,
a program. If you're sitting here watching today and that's something that you're interested in, you have your event to go to. This is one of the
absolutely.
top events to attend to get education, for relationships. Business is all about doing business with people like, and trust. And be happy to make the intro for individuals wanting to meet Jerry down in Ponte Vedra, because we'll have a booth as well. So we appreciate that opportunity immensely, and maybe we'll be doing some interviews out there. So we'll get your take
Absolutely.
out at the event. So we're happy and very excited about what that has to offer. Maybe you could just share a few of the speakers that are coming out to the event, if that's not a secret.
No, it's being published everywhere. Our keynote speaker is going to be Dan Zatofsky. Dan is a world-class investor, and one of the things that Dan does is he works with small groups of investors on various opportunities. So he's going to be talking about how to build the motivation to keep pushing to realize your dreams. So Dan is going to kind of pull everything together for us. We have Eric Pierre, who is a CPA, and like I said, he only works with high net worth individuals, and working with them on proven strategies and proven ideas for how do you reduce your tax liability to be able to keep the capital you have. We have John Miller, who is a lawyer extraordinaire. John is my trust guy. So he's the gentleman that knows how to set up trusts of various types for people. And the thing that I love about John is that his program is all encompassing. He really works hard to make sure that we do what we have to do to set the program up. He'll do all the paperwork, but then he'll also coach you and kind of shepherd you along that process. And then finally, we have Desi Arnaz. Desi is, a guru in the note space. He's written books on the family circle of wealth. And what Desi's going to be talking about is how to build that legacy for your family so that you have the funds, generation after generation. So those are the investors, or those are our speakers. We're going to have a great time.
Or the tools that you'll have that will equip yourself after attending this event. It's going to hit a plethora of different things that are super valuable, I think, for individuals. So don't hesitate to attend the event if you're sitting here watching today. It should be an action-packed event. I think we'll have multiple mutual relationships out there. So happy to attend at the end of the day. I think that's one of the major events that are coming up here in first quarter. We've got Noteworthy here in Orange Tree Golf Course here in Scottsdale. So, it's always great seeing you guys out at different note events, out educating, because again, it's all about the relationship. Jerry, if you want to touch on anything lastly here of anything you guys are working on throughout this year, or, one last special offer you'd like for somebody to hear today, now's your time.
All right. So I'll follow up again with the Wealth Protection Summit. Hit our website, or I guess you can also hit your website. We're at this point, we have the early bird special going where we're discounting those tickets by $50 a piece. So now's the time to do that. We'll also have a very good discount on the rooms from Marriott. So you want to register early so that you can take advantage of those. I think that the summit is going to be a great place for folks. The speakers, like I said, are world class. It's really hard to get this group of people in a room at one time. And typically when you're talking to them, they're very expensive. So you'll get a chance, for a small amount of money to be able to come in, talk to them, interface one-on-one, and develop some relationships. And that's what this is all about.
Love to hear that. And that's at FirstShieldFinancial.com?
Yes, you can go to our website, www.firstshieldfinancial.com. Just click on the link, and it'll take you right to all the registrations as well as the room reservation as well.
Well, yeah, we look forward to that event, Jerry. We appreciate having you here today on the podcast. I think we'll have you back in another rotation after the event. And maybe we can, recap how that went, and possibly on the next one that follows. So happy to have you here today, Jerry. Thanks so much.
All right, thanks. I really enjoyed it.
Bam, bam, bam.
Okay. Cool.